You just said that, but I mean, how many rape jokes, like overall, do you have?
How many times do I say the rape, or is it?
No, like bits.
I mean, really, just that one rape. It's a long bit though, so it's a lot of jokes within it, and I'm being raped in the joke most of the time.
Okay.
So that's I think that's why it's a guy being raped. It helps, but I don't want to ruin the bit either. But I think you have to. I respect the fact that people can be triggered, but it's a very strange thing to me because for me, I'm always trying to find something really funny from this dark shit, right? Whether it's a personal experience or whatever it is. And the way we're looking at it as comics is we're trying to find something really positive out of something really shitty. And then you have like a movie, which is just, maybe it's a fucked up scene. There's nothing. Look, it's a positive piece of content.
Can't tag it to one person talking.
Yeah.
It's a scene. You're watching people act out a scene.
You're right.
There's something very personal about one person talking. That's why this is how some people would look at it. Like, you should talk about things that you really care about while you're doing that, because you only have a certain amount of time to do it. And sometimes you have a bit that's just not worth it. Like the way people react to it, it's just like, even though you have a point, it's like, even working this bit out, people are getting so upset. It's almost not worth it.
No, it has to be a net positive. The crowd has to be laughing. Yeah. So there's no, I'm not going to, I will defend somebody's right to tell a shitty joke, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I understand if, as a performer, you have to gauge the audience and put your finger in the air and go, okay, which way is the wind blowing right now? The reality is you can't say things you used to say. You can't say faggot on stage anymore. In a crowd in New York or LA, you can't say that word. The crowd will tighten up and shut down. You'll ruin the rest of whatever that joke is. So it's
you obviously haven't seen Diaz recently.
Maybe does he say faggot a lot?
He'll say whatever he wants.
Oh, he's awesome.
He'll say whatever he wants. But he's got a point.
I have a joke about my dog, and I used to say my faggot dog because he's licking another male dog's asshole in the joke, and people would shut down at that word. And it's really, to be honest with you, New York and LA, that's where the biggest faggots live. The rest of the country is cool. If you go anywhere else, they don't really give a shit about words like that. But in New York and LA, it's become a particularly hard thing to, there's certain words and certain things. Yeah. It's not even the content necessarily. It's just those words that sort of set people's sensors off.
Well, there's always going to be a bunch of words like that. What's really interesting is what does happen when you stop people from saying it. Because it's kind of counterintuitive. Because those words become these forbidden words, these dangerous
give them more power,
words. Right? They have so much more power. If you don't, and I just don't think you ever get to tell people that you can't say certain words they used to be able to say all the time. The idea behind those words is still the same. Like if you say to someone, you shouldn't say retarded anymore, even though that used to be like a term that they would use for things being slower, like their growth being slower. Their growth was retarded. But now if you even use it as a technical term, like in the growth was retarded, people will get upset at you. Like, don't use that anymore. Now that's a forbidden sound. Even if it doesn't mean what they think it means. We're talking about a person with Down syndrome. They don't like hearing the R word. They call it.
You talked about it in your special. I thought it was a great bit where you're like, just these sounds from your face. Like, what are we doing? It's just you're making these different sounds with your mouth. So it's just sounds.
Well, it's a byproduct of speech being a shitty way to really clearly convey intent. And that's why when someone is good at speaking their mind, we kind of get a real sense of, we enjoy it. If someone's good at speaking their mind. But if someone sucks at speaking their mind, if they're clunky at it, then it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. And there's too many people that there's no barrier of entry, and we're exposed to a lot of horse shit very quickly now. Whereas, like, I think back in the day, comedians had time to grow in a club. You look at Bob Saget, right? Bob Saget was like a dirty, fucking filthy comic who ended up getting on the cleanest television show ever. Right? Ever. The dad, Danny Tanner was, but then if there was cell phones out back then, he would have never gotten that gig.
Well, I think he stopped doing stand-up for a long time because of that too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think
probably.
He did stand-up while he was doing that show. I might be wrong, but if he did do it, maybe he did like an
abridged.
PG-13 version or something.
Yeah.
If I don't know, man. Is it worth it? Is it worth it censoring I think one day, it seems like the more time goes on, the more words they're sneaking into network television. You hear like shit every now and then. I think you're allowed to say shit and asshole on a network show now.
Yeah.
There was like a big episode once on CBS.
I don't think you can say shit in my asshole, though.
No, you can't say that.
Yeah.
That's just too...
You can call somebody a dick, but you can't refer to your dick. That's the idea, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can call someone a pussy, I think, even, too, which is weird. You know, that one's on the way out.
Yeah. Now that's become a thing where you're feminizing a man, and now that's offensive to women. Fuck you, bitch. Now that's I'm calling my buddy a pussy, and you get to take the offense on that? That's some crazy woman shit. That's actually right there. That's how crazy women are.
It's not how crazy women are. It's how crazy some women are. It's like some men are fucking crazy, too. You're just dealing with a giant number of people. But if people find a little thing where they can pick on it and go after it like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very funny to me. There's no words
feminizing
that could possibly offend me, that could ever.
Right.